welcome to Exposed Urban TV. I'm Corey Jackson, and I'm here with Ian Bennet from Isaaks of Salem.
How you doing, Corey?
We're going to be talking about his winery over in Salem, Massachusetts, and his 3 varieties of wine, and the ingredients inside, and why, what he's doing with New England ingredients and local food, and social media as well, if we get to it. So, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Corey. I'm excited to be here. We have 3 wines that we do here locally in Salem, Massachusetts: a dry honey wine, a sweet tooth honey, and a Pop Road raspberry. They're all very unique and very different than a grape-based wine that's done locally here. And I think Corey invited me to highlight some of those differences and talk about, why we choose to make a honey wine versus making a grape wine that a lot of other farms do in Massachusetts. I think there are probably about 40 or so wineries in Massachusetts registered.
40 wineries in Massachusetts? Is that the right statistic? 39. 39? You're right.
39. I was right. Wow. Okay. Wow. I didn't expect to get that correct, but okay. So there's 39 wineries. There's probably 2 honey wineries. I'm one of them. There's another person, Green River Ambrosia, out in Western Mass, real Western Mass. So what makes or why do we do honey wine versus grape-based wine? There's probably 3 key points. The first is that it's really great to support local agriculture, and during grape-based harvest or grape-based wine, you're only supporting the one winery. And a honey wine situation, you're supporting all of the fields that were pollinated by the bees that then created the honey for that particular farm or pollinated that farm.
You get your ingredients from local farms here in Massachusetts?
Yes, almost all of them. There's one ingredient in the sweet tooth that we don't actually get in Massachusetts, but all the honey is from Massachusetts, and it's the dominant flavor in all of our wines. And in the case of the raspberry, we do get raspberries from Dresden, Maine, but that's a special situation because of the coastal estuary that's up there in Maine. Very destitute farming next to a saltwater estuary. You can imagine, the barns falling down. Yeah. It's an old Mainer. Like, the guy, he wouldn't let you take his picture, so he turns away from the camera, and I'm like,
so he's
okay,
not on
take it to Facebook. I found him via Twitter, though.
Oh, you did?
I found him on Twitter, yeah. He wasn't on Twitter, but someone who was originally from Dresden said, oh, I know someone that does, raspberries by the 25-pound box, and you can get them in Dresden, Maine. And so I frantically searched the agriculture websites to any contact information to reach this guy, and I bought his entire crop when I found him.
Wow.
Yeah, I talked to him in January of last year to buy his crop in October of that year. Oh, okay. And now we finally have the wine out in January. So it's a real local story that took a long time to develop, and it's absolutely our flagship best wine that we have. So it's a good story behind that one too. Yeah, I know you were trying. He's like, where's the glass is empty. I thought this was a wine show.
So you talked about the sort of New England farms, the local food, making local wine. You had one other point on consistent sugar levels with the honey ingredient.
Yeah. What we have is in honey wine, we don't need to rely as much as a grape-based farmer would on the quality of the fruit that we're growing in the field. So what that means is, I'm pouring you a tasting size. Is that all right?
Sure.
Do you know?
Yeah, please.
I mean, we can go to the break.
4 episodes.
All right.
Now, are you supposed to swirl this like you do?
I would hold on to it and just let it
sit.
Let it sit for 2 seconds, and then we'll swirl it in a minute. Okay. These glasses are shaped to really show off the bouquet of this particular wine. It's our dry wine, and the taper helps bring the floral characteristics into one spot. So, you can't really miss where you put your nose.
Right.
You've had some wine today, so usually when we taste with people, we give the first sip to kind of prime the palate, and then the second sip is what I'm really trying to show with this. I think you might get to 3 sips before, because I saw you having some red wine before, so. it's my first sip of wine tonight too. So that first sip it just needs to prime stuff. This is a big white wine in comparison to what's in California, what else is out there. Big white wine, so you want to have 2 sips to prime the palate so you're not so shocked.
When you say big, what do you mean by big?
Big,
like a full body?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
I can see, like, is that the sugar that's
no, it's actually some effervescence or petulant. Not petulant, but petulant.
It's not like legs, like a...
You'll see the legs in a moment. You will see the legs in a moment.
Yeah.
It's actually just a little bit of foam, to be honest. It's like foam, because these were outside and they were really cold, and the restaurant's really warm. So the
second sip is already really good. So
the second
can't wait for that third sip.
Yeah. 3 sips in. Yeah, I mean, this has been open for a day. The wine's gotten better since yesterday, and no one can obviously taste this on the camera, but
you can at home. And we're gonna let you know how at the end of the episode.
That's true. What the key with the dry wine is that we're going for a very floral style, and that's because the flowers of New England dictate how this wine tastes. So wherever the bees were harvesting nectar to create the honey is what comes through when you ferment that honey. So in this case, this was 2008. This honey is from 2008. And that year, if everyone remember, you have to remember 2008 if you were in Massachusetts, because it was abysmally rainy. Like, rained for 2 months. Do you remember it? Like April, May, the beginning of June, it finally stopped raining.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
He's like couple glasses in. You don't remember the weather patterns?
Yes, it was
2 years,
horribly rainy.
2 years ago? How much lead-in do I have to give you? All right. So it's really rainy, and that means the crops, all crops, including the grape crops, were very poor that year because there was so much rain early in the season. And what you get a lot out of this is more wildflower than apple blossom, because the apple blossom wasn't that great where all the bees were coming out and pollinating that year. But the wildflower that was great late in the summer, that's where you get more of this clover bloom, Queen Anne's lace, wildflower flavor.
That's interesting. So every year, this particular wine will, or all of your wines, will really have a very different taste to them based on the weather.
Just similar to a grape wine, the weather does impact how the wine tastes. More so in our dry wine than our sweet tooth or raspberry. Okay. Just because the dry wine, there isn't any residual sugar to coat the mouth or to disguise the floral flavor. We'll see in the sweet tooth, there's more sweet honey wine and there's more sweet characteristics, and you won't be able to get as much floral. Okay. So this was the dry wine though, and you get a good sense of what the flora was that particular summer and where the fruit came from. Yeah. I'm expecting next year to get more apple blossom because this past summer was so great. We don't have a...
No, we don't. That's okay.
You guys are great together.
Thank you. So, all right, so we got 5 minutes left? All right, so...
All right. So one down. I didn't know you were going to...
So what's this next one? We got the sweet
What kind of ghetto show are we on? It's like he just...
Let's go, more wine.
He just downs it. It's like, oh, okay, let's move on. Boom.
It was phenomenal, by the way. And I was actually expecting to taste more honey, but I didn't. It was a very... I'm not sure. Like the floral stuff that you're talking about. Yeah, wait. We gotta hook up our producer here with some.
Okay, pass that over. Get her some.
Dry honey wine.
Who's low?
So we're gonna be taking a look at the sweet tooth honey. Isaaks of Salem. And Isaacsofsalem.com is his website, so definitely check him out. He's on Facebook, he's on Twitter. I met him at a North Shore Dish blogger potluck, and he brought this exact wine. I think there was the sweet tooth honey to that. Yeah, it was phenomenal. I think it was his first batch of that. It was so good. Good stuff. All right.
All right.
So,
Sorry, we
Sweet
had to.
Tooth Honey. That's right. I filled the time. We're good. This is a very professional
Did he take
show.
any more when we weren't?
No.
Okay. Oh, whoops. Was that the? No, that was the dry. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So the Sweet Tooth. This is our version of the traditional mead or sugar dessert wine Riesling style. You're going to get more honey. This is for people who enjoy Riesling or a sweeter wine.
Like a. Are we getting towards a Moscato or?
I'd say Moscato, no.
Okay.
Riesling,
Not that
yes.
far.
Not that far. You can't. A lot of producers do make the Moscato even further.
Yeah.
Dessert wine, late harvest wine
When it
out
goes
of
too
honey.
far, it loses me.
Yeah. Well, it has its own purpose. You know, if you've had course after wine course after food course after wine course, the Moscato makes sense at the end. You know, you're just burned out. But for us, we choose to produce just a slightly sweet version.
Would you pair this with food, or would this be?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely pair with food. Great Hill Blue Cheese is in Western Mass.
Yeah.
Blue cheese with both of these our white wines is fantastic, no matter where it's from. Some of the crazy stuff from London that's really big blue cheese is fantastic. But I really like the local Great Hill Blue Cheese that goes with the sweet wine.
Cool.
You'll see there is some of that, those bubbles again.
Yeah.
That won't happen if the wine is brand new in your house. You won't get the bubbles, but if you let it shake in your car and you drive it all around Massachusetts for a couple days, that's what it'll do. Now, when you
Some people like bubbles.
that's true. We'll get a little more bubbles in the raspberry,
All right.
but
I've already been smelling.
okay, all right.
Oh wow. Wow. Really good.
See the excessive smoothness? That, there isn't any floral, so that excessive smoothness.
A little more creamy, or almost like
Vanilla.
Vanilla, yeah, vanilla. I was
Yep.
I was trying to think of what candy.
Yep.
Like a piece of white chocolate or vanilla. Yeah.
Yeah. The sugar in this goes great with like birthday cake. I'm not a big like sweet pairing person, like sweet dessert with sweet wine, but my wife totally convinced me otherwise. It's awesome with like birthday cake.
Yeah.
Birthday cake and blue cheese. The best thing to pair all of our wines is big food with big wine.
Yeah.
So that's the sweet. How many minutes?
Sweet. We're like out of time already.
How are we
It's
out of
amazing.
time?
You guys did great
That's what happened.
All right.
But we
All right,
can
all
do.
right.
You can come back next week if you want. We can
No,
talk
no,
about
no.
the raspberry.
Are we totally out of time?
Yeah, but next week I mean like in 2 minutes. We just gotta wrap this
Oh,
up.
okay, yeah, that's fine.
They're all good. They know we film about 5 episodes a day.
All right, that's fine.
Good. All right. Well, thank you for watching Exposed Urban TV. This has been Ian Bennet with Isaaks of Salem. IsaacsofSalem.com. Facebook.com/Isaaks of Salem.
Yep, that's right. Yep, we didn't screw that up.
ISAAKS. So we will see you next week, probably back with Ian. All right.
Thanks, guys.